So what's a successful season in your opinion look like for Sheldon Keefe? Like that's what I've been sort of hypothesizing and trying to figure out the last week. Like, is it one round? Is it two rounds? So is it mandatory they get to a conference final? Do we see some progression? Like that's ultimately what I'm trying to think about because I don't think his job is any more secure than it was, say, 2 weeks ago before the extension.
Yeah, for sure. And a successful season, I think, let's just say they win their division,
Okay.
they have success in the playoffs, and they get to the Stanley Cup finals. They're the Eastern Conference champions. They get to the Stanley Cup finals. Obviously, you win a cup, that's a no-brainer. But if they go that deep and show that they're one of the best, two, three teams in the whole NHL in the world, I mean, that's a successful season. He's not going anywhere if they do that. You put yourself in position through the regular season, and then you start getting things done in the playoffs. That's going to be a successful season. They need to see a conference finals. They need to see a Stanley Cup finals here soon. And to be honest, the city itself and Leafs Nation is not going to be their thirst is not going to be quenched until they have a Stanley Cup banner hanging in that barn. That's just the bottom line. That's the reality of how long it's been for them. But a successful season in my mind is getting to the finals, is winning the East, winning some divisions, like showing that, hey, we are just as good. And at that point in the season, a lot of it comes down to luck, injuries, that type of thing. But you need to prove that you can get the team right up to that promised land.
To me, it's more how they get there. Like, for example, this past spring, they finally got past Tampa. I wasn't crazy about their performance, the way they played in that series. I don't think Tampa was that great. I'm giving the Leafs some credit. They scored some big time goals. But for me, my lasting memory was round two and how it was a complete no-show outside of the first two games where, you've played the game. You've played in the NHL. Puck luck is a part. And while I would agree that Toronto was the better team in the first two games, Florida wins the first two games. And the Leafs backs are against the ropes. And what happens in game three? They shit the absolute bed on the road in Florida, where you should be the most urgent you are all season long. So to me, it's more so about that, like response level, like the different buzzwords that you would look to see around the league if a coach still has the room. I still wonder about that. I think the start's integral. We talked about this last year. They always seem to have shitty Octobers, and I wonder if that's rectified this time around. It better be. Like, I could see a world like if they get off to a bad start where they just make a decision here because again, the money doesn't matter, the term doesn't matter on the contract. If they think they have a new guy in place, and we know there's a new GM in this market, they'll be quick to make that decision. But I want to see progression. I think it's the way it all transpires. Like I really can't quantify what that means. Ultimately, I do agree with you. Like a Stanley Cup final or bust, a conference final or bust. I think they've shown they can finally win a playoff series at least.
Yeah, for sure. That's been checked off the list. It's time to move on. I think this team should be better. They need to be better. And if they want to go where they're trying to go, they need to prove that. And to me, it's that resiliency, it's their attitude on the ice, it's their confidence level, it's them being in control and them just having this dominant attitude behind them. And it comes with the start of every game. It comes with the start of every shift. It rolls through the lineup. It doesn't matter what's going on, injuries, goaltenders, it doesn't matter. They just lead with this confident attitude and they are resilient to anything that happens around them. They have tunnel vision. They are one of the best teams in the world and they have to walk like that, talk like that, and play like that. And they have to show that off the get-go. I mean, October, does it matter? Is it a good sign if they shit the bed in October? Of course not. But we know it's not the end all be all. But if this team's a team of destiny, a team that's that top tier that's going to get it done, we want them to start developing that attitude and that identity of we don't fuck around. We show up to work and we dominate and we know who we are and we have nothing but confidence in ourselves. And that's what's going to bring you to those levels that we're talking about them getting to.
I always happen to think October is like foreshadowing of what's to come in the springtime.